Well, hello again, everyone. Here we are, the end of week 6. This is episode number 2 for the Sim Auto Racing Association podcast. I am here with Paul, who is the league admin. I don't know why he makes me do the intro since I'm just a series regular, but
It rolls downhill.
right, right. So, week 6. What happened here? Week 6. Had some first wins for a few people, a few people across our divisions here. We got Chris continuing to win races. Chris Roberts, he picked up the win on Monday night in the the fixed street stocks, the limited street stocks at Watkins Glen.
Interesting race that was, from what I heard.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I had just bought Watkins Glen. I think it might have been the same for him too. I don't recall. I think he had just bought it as well, but I had pretty much just bought Watkins Glen like 2 hours before the race started and put in an hour practice on my own. And races are a lot harder when you got to turn right once in a while. I will say that.
Yeah.
But it was pretty wild. It was a good time though. I really like Watkins Glen. I've raced it like in a few other, like NASCAR games or something like that. But it's not really. I mean, I don't really remember the track terribly well, but it was fun. I had a good time with it, and I think it should definitely stay on the limited schedule. It's a good race. Really mixes it up. I don't have it in front of me, but what did the top 3 look like there?
It was Chris Roberts led 10 out of 10, then Layla, and then you. And you got two hard charger bonus points for going from 7th to 3rd.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Well, hot damn.
With a cute little red bar on the back of the car.
Well, I think I've done one piece of like official road something on the roadside, and I think that might have been just some practice or maybe a time trial or something like that one night when I was bored and had nothing else to do. And this was prior to this build or this schedule when you couldn't get a race every hour. That used to be. I don't know how much you follow the schedule of the races since you don't really do much.
Not at all.
But this season they've got many of the divisions racing on the hour, every hour, as opposed to most divisions wouldn't. Once you get out of the rookie class, it takes, the races are spread apart by every 2 hours in most divisions. Sometimes only once a day or a few times a day, I think, or once a week. But now they've got most of the divisions racing every hour. Qualifying is every hour. So yeah, I was bored one night and I wanted to do something, so I went into like a time trial on the street side, and I got, I think, 0.02 SR points on my oval license or my road license. So I'm chipping away at it.
Oh, there you go. Almost good enough to drive one of NASCAR road courses now.
Yeah, right. And let's see. And then the late model race was just as fun, I thought. I mean, there was a pretty big wreck at the bus stop on the first turn, which I think everybody expected it. I stayed low into the turn. I stayed low and I stayed on the brakes, and I still got tied up because I knew it was going to happen.
Right.
But I tried to be prepared for it as best I could, but I still got tangled up in it. But even in that race, I still came away with a third, so that was pretty cool.
Where is a bus stop on Watkins Glen? Because I don't know the course that well at all.
It's after you take the green flag, there's that sharp turn, and then there's another kind of a broad right-hand turn, and then there's kind of a broad right-hand turn into a fast left-hand turn, and it's I would say it's after halfway on the track. I mean, I would say it's about halfway on the track. I don't know. I'd never really raced there at all, like an iRacing period. So I was still really struggling with trying to find my line. Like, I came into the session and my fastest lap, I think in the street stocks, was like a minute 31. And then I'm looking at Chris's fastest lap and it was like a minute 25. And I'm like, how the hell is he where is he making 5 seconds up on this track? But I guess that's why he's winning almost everything there is to win right now, is because he can find his way around the track pretty well.
He's versatile.
Right, like, and it was funny. I uploaded that clip to the YouTube account. I didn't even mean to. I meant to do that to my personal one, but at the time my Twitch.tv account was linked to the SARA YouTube, and I didn't mean to upload it under that one, but I did. And then somebody commented, "We're like, just because it's the bus stop, or like just because they call it the bus stop, doesn't mean you actually have to stop." And it's like, so. So that was fun. Leela picked up her first SARA win on that one. On the late model side of that, there was a bit of contact between her and Derek, I believe, or not Derek, Chris, on the last lap, and kind of Leela got the win there. That was a fun race. It was. I'm looking forward to more of those races at Watkins Glen. Just gotta figure out how to get to the bus stop without actually stopping for about 5 seconds and dropping off the kids and all that good stuff.
Got to throw the bike on a rack on the front of the bus, and got to wait for the crazy guy to sit down and get behind the yellow line. And
Yep.
I understand, it's tough.
Yeah, it's the bus stop. What else was there? The Wednesday night truck race that went green the whole way.
Yeah.
Actually, that was because I guess the yellows were on. She said she turned them on, but I guess they weren't on for some reason or another. So we got, I think it was 40 laps.
40 laps, yeah.
Yeah, so we had 40 laps of green there, and it was fun. It was, I qualified. I believe I was fastest in practice qualifying, and I ended up winning.
And you and Chris, looks like you guys traded the lead a couple times, so there was some action up front.
Yeah, we were talking the whole time because he would. I took off and I led for 5 or 6 laps, and then he kind of got a run on a lap, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna come up and take you on the inside here." I was like, "All right, man, go for it." And then he passed me, and then a few laps later, he was like, "Hey, He's like, "Hey, if you're gonna run on me, just let me know and I'll go up high for you." And I was like, "All right." So it was kind of just like we were communicating the whole time as to who was going where. I don't know if he let me win it or not. I feel like he could have just easily taken it, but then Chris is he likes to win, so I don't know if he just rolled over and gave it to me or what, but picked up the truck win there. But that was I had fun there. I'm usually pretty quick at Rockingham anyway. I don't know. I just did. I drove it quite a lot when it came out, and I think I found a pretty good line on it. A lot of fun.
Yeah. No, it looks like there were some good times there. Everybody was in the low 25s. So.
Were they?
Well, on the average laps, yeah, everybody top half of the field is 25.2 or quicker on an average lap. So it's pretty good pace. Pretty good pace around there.
Yeah, it was. How many people started that? Do you have that in front of you?
8.
Yeah, it wasn't too big. Plus, being a paid track and everything. So.
Also, we're not really pushing the trucks too much. It's they're kind of in limbo until next season when they go to the until they become like the top division. So it's just really just practice for regulars. Get some of the guys used to running the trucks. So.
And it's going to be open setup, right? For the.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that'll introduce a whole new level of stuff.
just stuff.
Right, just stuff. It's going to require more practice, and it's going to be, if you got a good setup, then it's going to be the field's going to get real spread apart.
Yeah.
And but we're looking forward to it. Me and Derek and Chris, of course, got a team together, and I saw on the forums that who is it? Mike and Clay are together.
Yeah, Mike and Clay, and Randall Schreck, who's one of the I think he's one of the top late model drivers we've got. He's looking for a team. A new guy, a guy that just signed out for the league this week. He's trying to scout for a team. So it's we didn't get a pile of team signups, but we're starting to build something. We got about a month and a half before the new season, so we got time to put together the roster.
Yeah. Plus, I was thinking maybe I'll take some footage from the truck races so far this season, and just make like a quick 1-minute spot or something like that to post around on the forums to promote the something that looks awesome. Just to post around. But even then, I mean, already that's three. Uh, my team is three plus Mike's team, that's five. Plus, this other guy, that's seven. So, already putting together, seven people. I mean, it's not a lot, but I mean, it's what we're usually running now anyway. So hopefully we can grow it. And
Yeah, once we start showing that we can, obviously we've had some real clean races so far, but we haven't really talked about it. Once we start promoting the division and we get races, they're probably going to be in the 100 to 125 lap range. When we can put together some good races at the start of the season, we'll be able to get some more guys in.
yeah,
The first season in any division is pretty much a recruiting season. The street stocks last season was a recruiting season to get guys like you and Mikey and Ken and Chris and all those guys involved. And then this season's kind of a recruiting season for late models. Next season we'll really be recruiting for the trucks. So it takes some time to get momentum.
yeah, definitely. I mean, like we said last week, I mean, you look at how many people started the street stocks last season and how many it finished with. I mean,
Yeah,
and not even just how many, people would show up on one-off races. I mean, like consistently. I mean, we may have lost a couple here and there, but for the most part, it's the same people showing up every week, and so hopefully, and plus, I'm quite certain that the truck is one of the more popular divisions for the leagues anyway. Seems like there are a lot of leagues that race trucks.
yeah. That for some reason I think the trucks was probably the most popular
Right.
oval car, at least, not
Yeah.
car, but it's the most popular oval ride on the service. It seems like people care more about the trucks than they do about even the A license COTs, which is odd, I think.
Right. That kind of makes sense, though. I mean, I've only really driven the Cup car, at the in the carburetor cup. Um, so I definitely think the truck is easier to drive for the most part.
Mhm.
So that's probably why, I don't know, maybe a little bit more approachable or something like that. But it's I enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that it's kind of that perfect balance of a beefy car that people can control without putting a lot of time into.
Right.
When you're talking about like the
Well, actually, the setup for the truck, I'm quite certain, I haven't really looked at the guts of how to set up the cup cars or anything like that. But when you go into the garage for the truck, I could be wrong, I might be, but there are almost more settings to the truck than there are the cup cars, or there are just as many. Um, so it's yeah, there's a lot to it. So
yeah.
should be interesting.
And,
Um,
and honestly, it seems like a lot of the truck leagues out there they run fixed sets because everybody knows Ray Alfalla is a set builder for the trucks, but like who knows who builds the sets for the other cars? I mean, it seems like the truck sets
I know
are,
who is
was always perfect.
Mike's grandmother.
Mike's grandmother,
She's
indeed.
building sets for the SK Tour cars, for the modifieds. That,
I hear she does the Silver Crown cars and
that's where she cut her teeth, was the open wheel stuff.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
she used to run up and down the East Coast with her modified team, man, and win everything. So now she's just trying to hang it up and stay low profile.
Right, right.
Oh, is it snowing down your way?
No, no, doesn't look like it.
It's snowing here again. I feel like it snowed here consecutively for the last about 47 days, give or
Good,
take.
good. That's what it should do up there in February.
No. Well, the other day it was like, I went out for lunch while I was at work. Yesterday I went to lunch while I was at work, went out in a t-shirt, and, it wasn't too bad. It's probably not too cold now, though, but I hate snow. I hate everything about it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan either.
And everybody's like, well, what do you live in Maine for? It's like, you think it's just that easy to just pick up and move just because I hate snow? Like,
Right.
no. Anyway. Uh, so Wednesday was a truck race. That was a lot of fun. And we got the trucks, the new season starting. This was week 6, so we've only got a few weeks left here.
Yeah, we got a month left. And then we'll take a couple weeks off. We have to finish up the street stocks in one of those off weeks, but take
All
a
right.
couple weeks
Okay.
off and change up the schedules a little bit and get right back to it.
Now you say a month, isn't it just like 3 weeks? Don't we only have 3 weeks left?
Um, 4 weeks. We go to
Are we doing? Because next week is week 7.
7, 8,
Oh
9,
yeah, so
10.
that's yeah. Yeah, I forgot. You count the.
Math is hard.
It is. I mean, it's
Because we're still technically in week 6, even though racing is over for this week.
right. No, I got you now. I get it. It makes sense in my brain now.
Yeah, there you go.
And Thursday, I know you weren't there. The late model race was actually, from what I could see of it, from about 15th place, was pretty wild. I know that I don't really care for Irwindale, but I know that a lot of people do. I don't know. I've only raced it a couple times, and it seems like there are so many different lines you can try. Like, did you download the replay that I sent over to you?
Yeah, I was watching. It looked like there were at least 4 lines, and
Right.
that's including Chris's whole, right on the apron. I mean, I don't think he had too much pavement between his left wheels and the grass the whole race. But yeah, it seemed like there was no bad line at all.
Right.
14 guys finished on the lead lap. It looked and it looked like it was clean too. I mean, I wasn't there. We had somebody, stepping in to do race control stuff that I would usually do, and apparently that didn't work out too well. But the racing, the black flags and yellows and lucky dogs aside, it looked like the racing at least was really, really good.
Yep. It was
70 green flag laps and 100 lap race is pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I mean, you look at the line that Chris was using. There was some race chatter going on. I think it was between Chris and somebody else. I don't remember who it was, but he was like, Chris was asking somebody, he's like, you surprised by my line? And he's like, yeah, I'm even more surprised that you're using that to actually run the race on that line. And Chris gave me the setup that he was running. He's like, yeah, man, you just got to run it real low on the track. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I took it out, and I was running like on the track, like not down on the apron. And Chris was like, no, man, you got to like go down on the grass. And I was like, what the hell? Can you even do that here? Like, is that part of the line? Like, or a part of the, are you allowed to pass below this line here? But he did it and came away with another second.
Yeah, and he was the only one that didn't take any incidents. I mean, he ran clean. Yeah. I mean, there were some 4s and 6s. There were a lot of guys that didn't get any contact penalties, but he was the only one that ran a goose egg on the incidents.
Wow, good for him. So,
I still don't know why Bellinger got DQ'd. I can't figure that out for the life of me, especially with this guy clearing everybody's black flags. How he ended up getting the DQ and finishing last. That's frustrating. Yeah,
I don't remember what it was. I remember him talking about it on the radio, but I just don't remember. We'll have to ask him, I guess, when I see him online next. But yeah, go ahead.
The guy. What had happened was, the Thursday night race was on Valentine's Day, and I am dumb when it comes to dates and forgot that that's what it was. So I had to be over in Jersey, spend time with my old lady, and Layla and Mike are admins in the case that I can't make it to a race, but there's some stuff that I have to do during the race. I have to go back and look at the incident that brings the yellow, so I can see who would get the lucky dog, and that's stuff that you can't do while you're actually turning laps. So there was one of the old DWRL admins who is a flagman for, or has been a flagman for them for a while. He came in, and apparently it was just a shit show. No, he didn't show any respect for the way we do things, and that's not going to happen again.
That sounds like a call out to me. No, I'm just you gotta be in his shoes. He's never really raced with everybody before, and he doesn't want to. I mean, he doesn't know the normal flow of things. I mean, because you won't just go and clear black for a series regular, and I think that's really good. When a few weeks ago, our start of the season, when I got I got screwed over by the whole grid system. Like I went into the pits with like 57 seconds left on the clock, and then tried to come out, and it said, you missed the green flag. You got to start from the pits, and you wouldn't clear it. And I was like, no, I don't want you to clear it. I don't want just because I've been
Yeah.
racing series regular, I don't want favoritism or anything. Let it slide. It doesn't really. It's not that. It's just the way it's going to be, because then, like you've said before, if you start introducing this whole human element to the whole thing, then it's like, then oh geez, can you just clear this, whatever, you claim or clear my damage, et cetera, et cetera. So I like that you're pretty stiff on the black flags, even
Yeah.
though people say, it's telling me to pit for damage, but it drives fine, I mean, it happened to Mike just the other night. You didn't clear that for him, did you?
Well, what happened was he told me on, I can't remember whether he said it on the race channel or in a private to me, that he got a black for damage. He said, but it handles fine. And how good of a representation the video is to how the car is handling, I don't know. But I went
Right.
around and I circled his car while he was driving, and there was significant damage. And if the car had been clean, if it didn't have any impact model on it, at that point it would have been a toss up. But there was damage on it. It looked like his camber was screwed up. It looked like the car had taken damage. And to me, if the car looks like it's taking damage and the car has damage, and if there's enough damage that he gets a meatball flag, I've got to let him serve it, because there are guys who will get a meatball flag and hit the pits, take the reset if they have it, and not say a thing. So I took my time going around the car, taking a look at it, and in that time he got a DQ flag for not answering the black.
All right. Yep. That was what happened.
That's the black flag that I cleared. Now I don't have a way in the game to clear specific flags. In fact, I can't see who's driving under a black or what they get the black for. So there's a little bit of a case of honor system where Mike says, "Listen, I've got a meatball flag for damage. Car's handling fine. Can you do something?" Okay, well now I got a DQ flag because I didn't answer the black. Well, he was honest about it. That it was for the damage. Go serve the damage one. I'll clear the DQ. I cleared everything, but he went and he pitted. He took his reset. It was a stop and go. Back he went into the race. So a lot of people, there was actually some misunderstanding during the race, and people were wondering why I was clearing his flag. I tried to explain it, and I think that actually played into one or two of the blacks that got cleared Thursday night. So there really isn't a written rule on how blacks are cleared, but I mean generally, if it's a break in the system, like if you get spun into the pits, you're going to get a black flag for unsafe pit entry.
Right.
I'll clear those because it wasn't a pit entry. It was a wreck. It was an accident.
Yeah.
Those I'll clear. But generally, if you get a black for passing under yellow, if you get a black for pit speed violation, those usually I don't clear. If it's a case where you're being told, where the game's telling you to pass a car and you pass them and then you get a black flag, I'll clear those because you were following instructions.
Right.
But I mean, if it's a black flag penalty, if you make a black flag violation, I'm going to let you serve the black flag. I mean, it's part of the rules of the game. So I let people serve them. So I would like to be able to not have to clear blacks, but there's some cases where the algorithms in the game don't know the difference between a penalty and a wreck. And not only that, but I mean the damage that's given you the meatball flag might not necessarily translate into handling or feel.
Right.
I really, I don't know whether there are instances where, in the game a car will lay down oil on the track or whatever, but I mean, it could be a case where that's the damage you took during the wreck. Now that's not going to translate to your force feedback, and it's not going to translate to the car listing up or down the track under yellow, but it's a thing that would need to be repaired. It's a simulation. So if it would need repairs on a real steel track, it would need repairs on an iRacing track. So, there's some stuff that you might not be able to feel in the seat that you would have to be brought in for. The good thing is, like when you go to races and you see somebody get a black flag, it's usually because of something that race control's seen while they're running. Here, it's an instance where the game engine is analyzing all the data that's going to and coming from the cars and is saying this is something that's wrong. Bring him in.
Right.
It's not a thing where somebody has to physically say it. It's just here's what the code says.
Right.
Plus B equals black flag. It's a lot simpler, and it's we're sitting behind computers, but it's safer. So
Yeah. Right. Like a certain variable has returned a value less than this black flag. So
and it saves a yellow because in Mike's case, if it were a thing where it was a simulated oil leak, you bring him off the track, you fix it, he goes back on the track. Now, his car doesn't overheat and he doesn't blow an engine in a turn and gets rear-ended, or he doesn't lay oil on the track and somebody doesn't slide into the wall and brings a yellow. So it's they say yellows beget yellows, but here's a case where black saves a yellow. So
does it actually simulate oil being on the track for like a blown motor?
I don't know. I don't
know.
Actually, I know that when you look at the status on the results page, I only ever see running or disconnected.
Right.
I actually saw, I think it's a truck race where Clay actually has a. Let me see if I can bring it up. I think it was Concord. No, it wasn't Concord.
Oh, what a shitty race that was. I hate Concord.
I'll get used to it. We're going to be running a lot.
Great.
Clay actually, the Thompson race in the trucks, he finished 21 laps back and his status is showing tire. Whether that means he blew a tire, I don't.
Tire?
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what it translates to in the game.
That was connection issues. Because he was doing really well in that race. He had just gotten by me. He had just taken second from me, and then caution came out, and then and under that caution he had just disappeared, and I was like, well, he was in second, now I'm in second, we're under caution. This thing, like, where the hell do I go? Am I gonna get up? And like, there's that whole element of like, do I stay here? Do I go up and take second? Is this thing gonna give me a black flag because second place has dropped out?
Yeah.
I think, but I just stayed there. I stayed in third and all was well. So I don't know if I could have gone up and taken second. I wish there was a little more documentation kind of on that whole thing. Like what happens when somebody drops out? Like the server knows this person is gone. They are not getting any more information from this IP address or from this user ID. What happens to the rest of the field after that? I would like to see a little more, just what the hell happens in that kind of situation, because that can really make or break somebody's race for sure.
I've noticed in situations like that, usually what happens is, in second, if you say Clay was in second place, usually what I've seen happen is, if the guy in second place drops out, the right line pushes up the spot, so whoever was in fourth would inherit second place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which isn't necessarily fair, but it's a lot easier than having everybody stagger like that.
Right. No, it's I mean, even trying to get people lined up when I think the lineup process should start with 2 to go, not just 1, because especially at a track like Lanier or sometimes even South Boston, depending on what you're running, people are coming out of the pits, and then 1 to go, you want to cross them up and go. It's almost become a problem for the guys that say a front runner. It's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to many, many other people. You're in the top 5, you get tangled up in a wreck, and then you have to go in and pit, and then you want to come out and take the green again, and you're fast as hell because you were in the top 5. But then the rest of the field, I mean, you're at the rear, and most of these guys, they're a couple laps down anyway, or they're not pushing real hard, and then these guys aren't in a big hurry to cross them up to go for green. So you've got to pretty much just start at the rear. There's no nobody's crossed up, and the leader's gone. And I wish there was a way where we could change it to cross them up with 2 to go, because 1 to go, and then you get the wave around coming by too. So you've got 2 to go, and the wave around's coming by. So you can't really double them up just yet because you got this 1 car coming by on the outside. So I think there's definitely room for improvement on that whole side of things. Like maybe race control should be able to determine when to cross them up. I mean, even that truck race that we did at Thompson, we were crossing it up pretty much under yellow. Like everybody was kind of where they should have been. And of course there was only maybe 10 people, 7 or 8, 10 people. I don't recall, but I would like to see more of that coming from everybody, where, you look at, I mean, sometimes there's a little bit of quick math involved. Like, okay, I'm starting 12th. Where do I start? Well, evens are out. Evens are always on the outside. Odds are on the inside, always. For the most part, anyway, I believe. I mean, so it's not that hard to really figure out where you're going to be starting, where if you're going to be on the inside or the outside, who's going to be in front of you. So I would like to try to see it be tightened up a little more across all the leagues, especially like the open sets, like the street stocks and late models, where getting ready to go green and it's like the guys are coming in turn 4 to take the green, and you've still got cars straggling out turns 1 and 2, just because they're not in a big hurry to get them crossed up because they're 4 or 5 laps down or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean it all comes down to, I think, the service. And I'm not going short track versus super speedway, but the service it's designed by the guys who did NASCAR race in 2003. Right. NASCAR license is their big money draw. Guys join the service because they're NASCAR fans and they want to run the super speedways. They want to run Daytona and Talladega. That's who, and rightfully so. I mean, those NASCAR racing is a rainmaker for iRacing, so they have to gear towards that. But it comes down to, with short tracks, you just don't have the time on Lanier or Sobo or Oxford Plains. You don't have the time on tracks like that to get everybody lined up on that last yellow. So I mean, it's with there. I would like to, as a race admin, I would like to see a lot more flagman duties available to me, because right now you can either run with server thrown yellows or no yellows. I mean, I could throw a yellow whenever I want during a race, but I have to have yellows enabled. So there will be instances where the game will throw yellow where I would probably leave the green out. That said, I would like to be able to give the cross them up command. I'd like to get the leader to start in the box when he comes off turn 4, rather than as soon as the pace car comes in. And
there's been a lot of times where I think it's, you have pretty much between pace car comes in and to the predetermined spot on the track where it's like, okay, the car reaches this spot on the track, time to go. Because I've seen it many times. You'll see the same guy will take the green over 4 or 5 restarts, and it's all just head games. He'll take it when the pace car goes one time, and then next time around, I'm waiting right until I get to the line. So I do like that there's that whole thing going on, because you can still, it's almost like a false start kind of thing. Like I wish, I think maybe as a flagman, I'd like to see more of like a false start kind of thing. Just a shitty start overall, basically.
Yeah, I would love to be able to leave the yellow out, because there have been some instances, especially with the street stocks, where the back of the pack was fucking romper room, and nobody south of like 10th to 12th in the field was really ready to go, but service is like, okay, we were 1 to go, yellow, then green, here we go. So I think there was actually one time when the service left the yellow out, but it doesn't happen very often.
Right. Yeah. Like there should be I think there are many aspects. I mean,
of course, it comes down to the game counting yellow flag laps too. So I mean, if it were a case where guys out of position would leave the yellow would leave the yellow hanging. If you've got 4 to go or you're going to go green, if it would have been like a green white checkers situation, that you could game that. You could intentionally run out of order to leave the yellow out so that you finish ahead of a guy who's getting a run on you. So a lot of that comes down to iRacing needs to give admins the ability to not count yellow laps.
I agree with what you're saying, definitely. But then you gotta look at how, like, you read on like other forums, like you go over to Reddit and stuff like that. You look at the iRacing subreddit, or you read that people prefer R Factor or Project Cars for XYZ reasons. But of course, this is coming from a person who's never raced any of those. I've never used any of those, they don't really appeal to me for any real reason. I mean, I think iRacing has what I've always been looking for in some sort of just oval racing game or simulator, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I mean, it has awesome league support. Well, it's coming from me. I mean, I'm not an admin. I mean, there might be gripes that you have, but I think the league support is quite nice. I mean,
it gives me enough tools that I can make do. I mean, I didn't really look at R Factor or Project Cars or anything because I saw everything that I needed as an admin in iRacing. I saw a really robust on-site community that I could farm for drivers. I saw just enough league support that I could set up a schedule and then do all of the real league adminning and league promotions off site, and I saw just enough versatility that I could create a league that I could set apart from other leagues. It has just enough for me to be able to get my mad scientist hat on. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of league support. There's a lot lacking in league support. I can't mass contact my racers. I can't assign drivers to specific divisions. I can't mass delete guys who are inactive. I haven't even checked the league message board on on the league page because I constantly forget it's there. I can't really link to specific pages on the league page. I can't isolate elements for an iframe. There's a lot of stuff as an admin I would like to. There are a lot of tools that I would like to have available to me, but the fact that the iRacing message board is so active and is such a vital part of the race community on the service that completely overshadows everything else. Because I've been looking at getting into R Factor because they do have a dirt racing community, because there is a mod. There are a couple dirt racing mods out there, so we could potentially do dirt modified. Dirt sprint. We could do all that if we wanted to. But that would get into running servers. That would be finding these drivers from who fucking knows where, because there's no centralized community.
Right. That's the key thing of iRacing, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Every driver who is ever going to race in SARA, I can get off the message board, or by recruiting out of official series results. I can't do that with any other racing game, sim, platform, whatever you want to call it.
Right. And that's and like you were saying, you could kind of, what was it you said, you could start a league that you really wanted to make stand out.
Yeah.
And that's exactly like a lot of the reason why I spend as much time as I do, like making the videos and stuff, or making paints for, you told me a couple weeks ago, you have that raace.org, they're on board, and you asked me if I wouldn't mind running a paint, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll make a paint. And then so I ended up making a paint, and now I run it on all my cars anyway, just because I'm trying to get more like a unified thing going between all my cars. But and then I make the cool videos, and then we have Matt Ralph, or is it Ralph or Rolf? How do you pronounce it?
Rolf.
Rolf? You say Ralph. Like,
do I say Ralph?
you might pronounce it in your head as Ralph, but if you listen to last week, you say Ralph, but I think it's Rolf. I don't know. We'll have to. I'm sure
Wow.
he'll hear this and he can
Okay.
he can let us know for sure.
Yeah.
But then we've got him. We've got his name on the late model thing, and
Yeah.
now we've got that the figure eight race, the FEAR or Fear.
Mhm.
Now they're sanctioning the figure eight stuff. I haven't done any of those because it's. I mean, I pretty much spend Monday night. I do the street stock late model. Tuesday night is the street stocks. Wednesday night is the trucks, and that's when they are. Is Wednesday nights, right?
Yeah. Right now they're Wednesday. They're going to be moving to Monday nights.
All right. So right now is the more serious stuff was the regular oval kind of stuff and the figure eight stuff. I'm sure it's a blast, and it looks like it is. Looking at like the classes that they run and stuff, and it would be fun to try sometime, but I don't know, it's just not enough time in a day.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got a lot of racing going on. That's for sure. But yeah, it might be a good segue into talking about the whole fear deal. If you wanna do that now.
Go for. I don't know. This is you sent me a text on it last night, and I was like, oh, cool. So that's about all I know about it.
Well, one of the things I want to do is I think I even said it on the last podcast. Like I really want the SARA to emulate as closely as possible real steel racing. I know I said it last week where I come at this whole thing more like a track promoter than an online league admin. So one of the things I want to do is I want the different divisions sanctioned by different real steel tours, and we have our first one, and we have the figure eight division that right now runs Wednesday nights after the truck race. They're going to move to Monday nights for season 3. That'll be a feature division, like 11 o'clock p.m. steady start time. It's going to be like one of the. I'm going to treat it more like a top division. I'm actually going to get to keeping the points for it because I have to hand score all that. But anyway, so there's an organization that races figure eights out at Evergreen Speedway in Washington. They're called the Figure Eight Auto Racing Inc. Fear, and they went from being a really big vital group to now, because of some track politics, they've shrunk down to basically an online club. They all still race eights at Evergreen, but they're kind of they're trying to rebuild the whole figure eight scene out there. And I reached out to him. I said, "This is what we got going on." The guy's like, "That's awesome. I have a tough time turning on a computer, but yeah, let's go for it." So what we're going to do is we're rebranding the figure eight division. It'll officially be called the SARA Fear Series.
Sounds tough too.
Right. I figure it's appropriate when you're driving through an intersection at top speed. But we're going to. I've got to go and pick through Evergreen's website and try to figure out what their point system is. But the figure eights will run the Evergreen figure eight point system, and we're just going to try to cross promote each other. We're going to start carrying some Fear Club news. They're going to set up a section on their website for us, and hopefully we'll be able to get some of their figure eight drivers on the iRacing service and run with us, and hopefully we'll get some people up in the Northwest interested enough to go out to Evergreen and watch some racing.
Right. Yeah. It's oh, shit. I forgot what I was gonna say. It seems like I mean I live up in the Northeast, of course, and it's the weather up here is described as 10 months of winter and 2 months of bad sledding, or 2 months of bad snowmobiling.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, it's it's not that bad, but it seems, and a lot of the tracks around here are just closing up, left and right, or not so much left and right, but a couple years ago, one track went out of business, and then last summer, the track that my father and I work at pretty much had to cut the season short last summer because there's just nobody's racing, or
Yeah.
I don't know if it's and people want to say it's track politics, but if people wanted to race, then they would go race. If there's no place else to race, then you're gonna go race no matter what. I mean, I don't know. It's you could call it track politics, or you could just call it nobody's got money, and when you're
Yes. Some of it's the economy. Some of it is that there's no. I don't think any track out there really markets itself efficiently. So there aren't the gates that they need really to support race. It's tough because it's just like every other minor league sport. You get guys involved with good intentions and just enough money to get uniforms on the players, and then they don't have enough money to go out and put fans in the stands. And then you've got some owners that think they need to get every nickel out of every ticket they sell. Where the reality is, you put fans in the stands for free a couple times, they'll start paying to come, and then you're making money on them at the hot dog and beer stand anyway. So there's a lot of misunderstanding in how to market that I've seen in sports, and I'm sure that carries over to racing. So I mean, there's we're in a position where the I think the economy is recovering a lot better than a lot of people want to admit it is, and
Uh-oh. That was
well,
everybody around the world just heard that can of worms just being opened.
that's all I'm going to say. I mean, anybody who's friends with me on Facebook or talk to me in real life,
Oh, for sure. For sure.
but
Sometimes when there's when my day when it's kind of a low point in my day, I will just kind of read all the shit that you've been commenting on, and it's like sometimes there are comment threads like 30 comments long where it's just you, like, I don't even know if they're your close friends or what, but pretty much turning your close friends into your best enemies with all the shit you guys debate back and forth about, and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm the same way. I say
yeah.
a lot of really really wild and one-sided offensive shit on my Facebook, and then some of my closest friends are like, what the fuck is this all about?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, without getting into too much doctrine or whatever, I'm a very progressive liberal, and a lot of my friends are NRA certified gun instructors, professional MMA or Muay Thai fighters. A lot of them have military experience. A lot of them, a lot of my friends are just cookie cutter conservatives, which is, I'm not saying it is a negative. I'm just saying that a lot of the people I associate with are conservative, and we just have a lot of my friends I love to death, but there's a lot of disagreement politically. So every once in a while I just like to get into it with them.
Yeah, no, I see that. It's no, I definitely see what you mean there. I think we got so sidetracked talking about Thursday's race, where I never even got to mention that James Edens picked up the win there.
Yeah.
That was if we want to take it back to that, that was fun. I don't know how people were turning laps as quick as they were. I've only raced that track a few times, but usually you can get a pretty good feel for a track, after an hour or so. But I don't know why. I just can't figure out Irwindale very well. I was running the same setup, I think, as Derek, and Derek would just. I think Chris was using this one that he made. He was working on it all day trying to find his line. He gave me his, and I tried it, and I just couldn't get it to work. Derek and I were running the same one, I think, because we've already started our whole team thing that we're going to run for the truck. So we've been working together a lot and other stuff. So I qualified terribly. I ran terribly. There was a wreck on the last lap. Sean Medling and Leela Wilson got together, and just hard racing. That's all it was. Hard short track racing. And they got together and took out a good amount of people, and but that's, you have to expect it though.
Yeah, I mean, what's Irwindale out, or a half mile?
I have no idea. It feels like a half mile, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, when we had 21 trucks turn laps, or 21 cars turn laps, that's not a lot of room, man. And when you've got lines all over the place, like on that track, there's just you can't always anticipate where a guy's going to be or where he's coming from. So, people are going to get into each other, and there's just yellows and short tracks. It's not super speedway racing where you run 100 green flag laps, and then everybody gets collected because somebody did something dumb.
Right. It was yeah. I mean, it was the only way to pass there is either a run the line that Chris was running, and he was about one out of one people that were doing that,
Yeah.
and or you got to do the slide job, and that was like the overarching theme of the night was just trying to get a slide job. I even tried to drive it in deep on clay one lap and got into him just a little bit. You know, I couldn't slow it down as quickly as I thought I could, and I got into clay. It almost took us both out, and I would have just felt shitty. You know, right after it happened, I got on the radio and I was like, "Holy shit, Clay! I'm so sorry. I did not mean for that to happen. It just didn't go like I thought it would." But the only way you can really pass there is the slide job, and
Yeah.
looks like that's what Sean was trying to do. Is just trying to. It's the only way you can pass because it's a fast track that has so much track space available, like big sweeping turn. I don't know. It's such a weird layout. It's not like anything. You know, it's not like normal tracks. Like it's not. It's very different from like USA and Thompson and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just almost you can almost make a big oval or a big circle out of that place for the most part. So looked like for the last lap, Sean was trying to just get one more position and just miscalculated and caused a wreck. And I mean, I was in 12th and I ended up getting 5th out of the whole thing, and I didn't even know what happened. And I wrote to Layla after the race, you know, asking her if she was going to do a write up on the thing like that, and she's like, I don't know, you know, not sure if I want to, and because she's been doing some other stuff for the site.
Yeah.
And she said she was still kind of fuming over the race, and I was like, whoa, what are you talking about? What happened? Like, I had no idea she was even involved in that. I didn't even know how it happened, how it started, or anything. So that was
Yeah, and honestly, I could be wrong, but I think I remember hearing or reading Sean say exactly that you know it was the last lap. He was racing for position, just went in a little bit too hard, trying to make something happen.
Yep.
It is what it is. You know, that's not a thing where you know he was bombing somebody just because they pissed him off. He was just trying to get a position, you know, racing for points.
That's what I said to her. I was like, you know, who knows, you know what, I mean, that's just racing. That's what happens in the sport. And I said, you know, Sean was, he was in my very first SARA race in the street stocks last season. And I've raced with him a number of times. Even outside of SARA, I think I've had a race or two with him on regular iRacing arrive and drive kind of stuff. And Sean has always been a guy will run you clean, like most other not even most, all other SARA drivers are going to race you clean for the most part.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mutual respect between everybody, and that's pretty cool to have. But that's what I told her. I was like, you know, Sean, he's always been just an honest, hard racing guy, and you know, everybody has an opportunity to take everybody out because we mostly race short tracks, and short tracks are where you can really lay the bumper on somebody to really, really screw them up. And but you know, that's just what happens. I mean, it happens every week, everywhere there's a race.
Yeah, I mean, she knows that because I think she even goes to short tracks out there. I mean, she sees it live and in color every week. So, I mean, she knows it. But on the other hand, you know, she was having a good run. She's top 10 in the division.
That's what I said. Yeah, I was like
6 right now. She's on the outside, but she's still got a shot. So I mean, you know, she was looking for that position too.
Right.
So it's racing. You know, I mean, it's not. We were joking about a guy that ran last year and doesn't anymore. This is racing, not you know, cooperative fast driving.
Yeah. So James Edens picked up the win on Thursday, and that was cool. We had we had a pretty good run for the last 25 laps there. It went green the whole way, and it was really tight at some parts.
Well, I mean, it sounds like there was a nice long green flag run there at the end, and I'm kind of noticing that seems to be the tendency. Like they're a bunch of yellows at the top half of the race, and then everybody finally gets stretched out, and we get a nice long 20, 25, 30 lap run there at the end, and I'm kind of okay with that. I mean, you know, it's. By the way, I'm looking at the standings, and Yeah, you've got Edens, Robertson, Shrek, first, second, third. But then you've got Mike Testa, who's new. I think.
Oh,
I think
he did he get the? I don't mean to cut you off, but he got the hard charger for Thursday, right?
yeah, 13 positions. You went from 17th to 14th.
He beat
You
me
went,
by barely. He beat me by one or two positions for it.
yeah, you went from 15th to 5th. Clay was right behind you, 14th to 6th. Ryan Wilson, 18th to 7th. And then Ken went 19th to 9th. Ken moved up 10 spots off his start. So
Nice.
there was a lot of moving forward on that race.
Did you
Oh,
have?
we had the Street Stockers at South Boston start. We turned the corner on the Street Stock season. That was a pretty good race.
Yeah, that was a very good race actually. That was a very very good race.
That was another one. Ended with like a 24, 25 lap green flag run at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I'm usually pretty good at South Boston. I mean, I haven't got any wins there, but I'm usually pretty good there. I can usually hang in the top five. Um, and that was awesome. Nick Malverdi, who you told me is 14,
14, yeah.
so he is
He
he
runs
is
his real steel wherever he is.
he what?
He runs legend cars wherever he lives.
You see these kids that race real cars, many of the people that you see that do really well in iRacing also race in real life.
Yeah.
Except I don't think Real Fella does. But
No,
I mean, you don't need to be a race car driver to be able to do well in iRacing, but I'm certain that it helps. Yeah, no, it was a really good race with him. He had, I think I qualified third, and he was either fourth or fifth, but he raced me really, really hard, many laps. He and we were too wide fighting for third place, and I want to say about halfway through the race, ish, he ended up just beating me. He just taking it from me, and then I had Clay. Clay was knocking on my door the entire time, but fortunately I was able to hold him off. But there was like I don't even remember who else finished where. Like I don't know who won that race. Even if you ask me right now, I have it written down. Who won? Who?
Josh Ronkowski won.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah, he picked up he's always been strong too. Like in the races
Yeah.
that he's run, he's always done really, really well. But I had my hand. I couldn't pay attention to anything else that race because I had Nick Malverdi and I had Clay Snyder all over me the entire race, and it was a lot of fun. And they both raced me so hard and so clean. So that was very refreshing. It was.
And
They
here's the cool thing. Here's the cool thing about Malverdi and Ronkowski. And even somebody told me somebody that lives out west told me that Ryan Tammy made his debut. Started 19th, finished 13th a lap back. But like apparently he's a hot shot like real steel road racer wherever he is.
Oh, really?
And yeah. But Ryan Tam and Malverdi are both rookie licenses. Ronkowski's got a D class license.
Oh,
Clay has a C license, and these guys are all running quick and clean. Ronkowski and Malverdi finished with no incidents. Ryan Tam got 4 incidents, but he was running in the pack the whole time. So, I mean, and a lot of leagues out there, like, you see the qualifications for membership for a lot of these private leagues, and it's like you have to be an A class license with 1,400 whatever SR rating you need to have, and we're open to everybody. And
I think that's a good thing that we're open to everybody. I mean, you have
Malverdi wouldn't get a chance to race with anybody else until he got his A license, but here he is. He's a top 5 guy in our street stocks, running everybody hard and clean
right.
with red bar. So I mean, it proves. I like that there's a licensing system in iRacing, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't fucking matter. It's just how much time you've put in.
Right. And it's true because I like the fact that you can sign up on iRacing today and you can race with us on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, any day you want. And some people will say, well, they're just going to cause wrecks or whatever, but I think when you join a league, especially like ours, there's a whole aspect of camaraderie and being able to have these people that will help you just learn, basically, like Mike's done with Clay and stuff like that. And even though they weren't in the league for long. I mean, I know Mark and Greg, they helped me a lot last season, and they haven't raced much this season, but those guys were really helpful and everything. So I like that we can just have rookies just come in, because it kind of gives them mentors. They can learn from people and work on setups together, and you give somebody new a pretty good setup, and then you can really see what they can do.
Yeah, and Clay's going to be a guy that will turn that over. Him and Mike running together. Next couple seasons. This time next year, Clay's going to be a guy. He's going to be, he's going to be competing for titles in whatever division he's running. But he'll probably still be running street stocks, and he'll hook up with a new racer and help them along.
Right.
That's exactly why I'm building this series the way I am, because that's, Clay is a SARA guy. He's it's going to take a hell of a lot for me to kick him out of. I'm going to basically have to punch him in his face for him to not want to run our races anymore.
That's a threat.
It is. I might just do it. No, but I mean, he's dedicated. He's committed to running SARA. He's one of our guys, and he's always going to be around as long as we're doing races. He'll be with us, and he's a contributor. He's learning right now from Mike. Mike's teaching, they're learning a lot, and he's going to pay it forward, and that's how you become the top league. We get 5 or 6 more guys like Clay that'll come up, and in a year or two, people are going to be wanting to watch our races more than they want to watch the Pro Series races. That's the goal.
There it is. That's laid out right there. I've been watching this ARCA race on mute, and they were 30 laps in with already 3 cautions. And it looks like they do single file restarts, and that's, I guess, for the better.
Yeah, probably.
And the shootout is tonight as well. That's coming up soon. The Gen 6 car will be out, I think they said the Monday after the 500, so just a little over a week left on the Gen 6 car. Definitely going to pick that up. And what else was there? Let me look at my notes here. This has gone on so long, I can't believe how long we've been...
No.
Just sitting, like I asked you earlier, I was like, hey man, you got some time to do a podcast? And you're like, yeah. I was like, what about 5? And you're like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if 5's going to work.
And meanwhile, it's already 5:45.
Right.
I keep checking my phone to see when the girl's going to call me, because we got stuff to do. She was at a baby shower today, which gave me the day off.
The baby shower.
Yeah. Dude, I don't even, you know what I mean?
How did they come up with the term baby shower? Like, what is...
Well, originally what it was, and it was a Scandinavian tradition where...
You don't know this. What the fuck are you talking about?
Listen to me. I'm telling you, I did the research. It was a Scandinavian tradition where an expectant mother would be pelted by babies of her friends who had children, and it would literally shower babies. So that's where it comes from. When the tradition moved to the U.S., it became a little bit more civilized, where they just gave presents instead of pelted their friend with children.
All right, let me look this up on my phone. Holy shit, you're right. That's the truth. My dad just texted me a few minutes ago. He's like, typical ARCA race, mostly yellow laps.
Yeah, it sounds like one of our races there for a while.
Right, last couple of weeks it was pretty rough. I think everybody's getting used to the new build.
Yeah.
And the
model race was really encouraging. 70 green flag laps. That's good for where we had. That's real good for where we had been.
The track has a lot to do with it too. I think.
Yeah. I mean, we had quarter with that schedule.
Right, we had tight tracks on a new build where the cars were just driving on ice, and everybody's kind of a little bit more used to it now. Setups are changing, wider tracks. But you almost had me with your baby shower thing. You were very insistent that you knew the origin of the baby shower. Now I really want to look it up now. I want to know why. I've got to know why it's called a baby shower. Or are there any other kinds of? I feel like there's another type of shower. Maybe
there's a bridal shower.
Bridal shower, that's what it is.
You don't even want to know where that one comes.
There's a lot. It used to be during a bridal shower, many lives were lost. It was almost kind of some sort of free for all for like that was the first bra and panties fight was a bridal shower.
Yeah, that's where Vince McMahon stole the gimmick.
I would have to check my sources, but I'm pretty sure. Like
Pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm usually not.
I've taken a book out from the public library once. It was on astronomy, but I'm pretty sure that that's where the first bra and panties fight came from.
No, see, I read in the Bible, somewhere in Deuteronomy.
I like that there is a section in the Bible called Deuteronomy.
Right?
It sounds like a frat.
It really does. It sounds like an 80s hip hop dance, like Deuteronomy.
It seriously does. Well,
I think we covered it.
Let me check over my bullet list here one more time. I threw this together. Gronkowski won the stocks. That was the very top of my list here. That's quite a name too, Gronkowski.
Yeah, it feels like a short tracker.
Oh, definitely. That guy's he's pounded in some fenders before.
Yeah.
That was all I had. I guess.
Well, shit, we've got five winners in 5 weeks in the Sportsman, which is pretty cool. I always like to see a lot of different names up front. Right.
With the Sportsman, you've got a whole aspect there of it's fixed setup. So
no, the Sportsman is the open set. You're thinking limiteds.
Right. Yeah. I've had too much to drink.
Understandable.
But no, that's good. You want to see a good amount of people mixing it up. Holy shit! This guy is racing the ARCA race right now. James Hilton. This guy is probably 70 years old. If you Google it, James Hilton, Hylton.
Mm-hmm.
How old is that guy? Can you Google that for me real quick? I'm in the living room. I don't have a computer near me.
Born 1934.
So this guy is, what is he, 80s or late 70s?
78 years old.
78 years old, and he's running the ARCA race like a...
Here you go, little trivia. 1966 NASCAR Grand National Rookie of the Year.
That's where I recognized him from. I knew he looked familiar, and that's where it was from. I remember being there that night when he got that.
You were there that night?
Yeah. I was there. Oh man, I used to be his right front tire changer actually.
He made his first Grand National start at Old Dominion Speedway in Manassas, Virginia.
We should start a petition on the iRacing forums to see if they'll scan Old Manassas.
Old Dominion. Of course, at this point it was New Dominion.
Is it still a track? It's probably like a Toys R Us now.
It closed 2012.
Oh, really?
3 months ago, yeah.
Bummer. What was it, like a quarter mile or a half mile track or something?
3/8.
Oh yeah, so it sounds like a regular old Saturday night.
Yeah.
Damn. But hey, man, he's a champion.
He's a champion. 78 years old. Jesus. I'll just be glad if I'm not shitting myself at 78.
Oh, you can still shit yourself and drive an ARCA car, I would guess. That's why there are so many yellows, because everybody's just shitting their pants, and they're trying not to sit on it. so they're trying to shift their body weight accordingly, so they don't have to sit on their own shit for the rest of the race.
Oh, you're just terrible.
And I think for a while, if you sit on your own shit long enough, you might get gonorrhea.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or you can get it from a tractor, if there are any other Seinfeld fans listening.
How is it? We're two for two on venereal disease references in these.
We established last week that was how each one was going to wind down, was a mention of gonorrhea. I don't even really know what gonorrhea is.
You don't want to.
Could you Google that and give us a quick?
No, I cannot.
Or we could just I don't know. I was gonna say something, but I don't know.
James Hilton moved to the ARCA Racing Series during the 1990s and ran in the 23 ARCA Remax Series scheduled in 2006. He finished 18th in point standings.
James, if you're on, look up on iRacing to see if he's on iRacing. I bet he is.
No way.
Huh?
There's no way.
Oh, this guy is totally on iRacing. And I bet right now, while this race is live, he's also doing a race at like Thompson in a SK Modified or something.
Yeah. definitely.
Is he on iRacing? Did you look?
No, he is not.
Ah, see, that's why he's not doing well in the race right now.
Right? Well, then the other thing is, was he running the 2007 scan or was he running the new one?
That's true. That has everything to do with it. When you're that old, you need the latest scans. There's 28 to go. Oh, and the shootout's soon, man. I gotta drink like 6 beers because I'm nowhere near the blood alcohol level I need to be for a NASCAR race. I gotta get back into it.
No preseason for you either. You're just going right back into mid-season form.
That's right.
The limiteds are at Bristol. The sportsmen are at Oxford Plains. The Outlaws are at Concord for a double points night. The trucks are at Martinsville. The figure eights continue to run Irwindale. Thank you, iRacing, for making that possible. Since you can't technically run figure eights, we figured out how to. Well, DWRL figured out how to do it. We just stole their division, and yeah, I have a early morning flight Friday, so I'm going to do my best to admin the Thursday night race at Concord, but we'll see how that goes. Chris Roberts continues to lead pretty much fucking everything. And Shane Williamson still leading the limited late models. That's the only series that Chris Roberts isn't winning. And yeah. If you want to catch up with us online, we are simautoracingassociation.com, Facebook/Sim Auto Racing Association. Twitter handle is SARA Sim Racing, and search YouTube for SARA Sim Racing. And my Twitter is _MISTER Miles. On Facebook, send me a friend request at facebook.com/Paul Miles. And yeah, find us in the iRacing League page. We're SARA, Sim Auto Racing Association.
Well, there you go. Thanks everybody for listening. This one was a little bit longer, but thanks for sticking around. Paul and I are still trying to find our groove on these things. So hope you enjoyed it, and see you next week. Bye.